It's the angle kit I've been developing for a few months now, and I'm gonna finally put it on here. Kit is set up. It can easily go back to stock, no problem. That was the whole point, to make it modular. So my mission to make this at least a little more driftable is obviously get the angle kit on there. I already have the rack spacers. Those won't be used. I'll actually be putting limiters on because the knuckle spacer is actually not the final revision. I made this design, like the ones I'm gonna offer are gonna be a little different, but this design, I don't know why I had this thought process, but I wanted to keep the rack limiters in so that people would have less work, but I realize most people probably already have that removed and not gonna be able to put them back. I saved mine. So it's gonna be a little different shaped here where the tie rod pickup point is. So starting off, obviously got the car in the air, remove the sway bar, and remove the brakes, and if applicable, on your car, guys, ABS, strong suggest that, 'cause we're gonna have to take the whole knuckle out to put the adapter on and stuff. So yeah, pretty regular stuff so far. So got the suspension completely deleted on both sides. Brakes hung up for safety, and the hose. Got both knuckles off, so now I'm gonna work on having the knuckles. Put my spacers on. I already have them on those knuckles, but they don't have bearings on them or anything, so I think I'm gonna delete the brake shields as well. So that's where we're at. So I kind of just wiped it down a little bit, but I want to make a point of cleaning these surfaces up with some stuff pad, or even a little light abrasive wheel. Clean up those surfaces so that your part mates up pretty good to that. Nice and cleaned up. There's gonna be some surface rust where the ball joint stud isn't, but yeah, just get that whole plane cleaned up and you should be good to go. Knuckle spacer on, and make sure you put the bolt in first. It's pretty important, otherwise you gotta take it all apart in order to get that bolt in. It's the whole reason why we have it cut out hex, because there's no way to get the bolt in after you bolt this up. So I'm gonna show you how the best way to bolt this up, because with machining tolerances and stuff, this is the best method I've found so far to date to bolt these up in what I feel is the correct way. All right, so what I did was I bolted this on just snug enough so that it can still move, but still like kind of, against that plane, and kind of swing the knuckle over, knuckle spacer, so it matches up to the hole nice. You can put the arm on the car first, and then it'll be easier to put the knuckle on, I think, instead of having to wrestle the whole knuckle and arm assembly. Also wanted to point out these knuckles, because I forgot, because they were in good shape. A lot of times, if a tie rod was replaced, there'll be dings from people hitting. So the surface might have dings in it, or around here you might want to take a stone or another appropriate tool to make the surface flat, because you don't want any nicks on that mating surface. Same goes for here. Usually the hammer sides are going on this side to get the ball joint out that way. So you usually don't have to worry about it here, but yeah, just make sure you clean them up good and the surfaces aren't dinged up at all. So one thing that I really couldn't get around having this completely bolt in is the fact that Ford welded this nut for the front control arm mount to the subframe. But I found a fairly simple solution. And there is kind of two. You can either drill that out 5/8 and then put a 5/8 nut on top of that, what's left of that nub of nut. Me being me, I like to drill that out with the 5/8 and then tap that nut so it'll still look super factory. I like to use that front hole as a guide for the drill to kind of drill it straight, even though it's actually bigger than 5/8. Or I can't remember last time I drilled for the Fusion, but yeah. So that's one thing you got to do with this kit, is drill that out so that you can use the 5/8 on the Heim joint, because they use a metric bolt for the front control arm mount. Hanging up the caliper like this should give me enough room. The 5/8 drill bit, I'm going to use my big 1/2-inch like corded drill to make it all happen. A 5/8 18 thread uses a 37/64 drill, so that's what I'm going to use to drill out the threads of that welded nut, and then follow up with the 5/8 18 tap. All right, simple as that. Had just enough room to sneak my corded drill in there. Basically deleted the threads in that little nut. Another pro tip, since you are making the hole bigger and a bigger thread, just make sure you tap all the way through past the lead chamfer of the tap, because you're also tapping some threads into the subframe as well. So that's where you want to be. Good idea to check your work and make sure the bolt actually will thread through. Okay, so I got the arm just literally set in there, barely bolted in at all. I want to show you some of my findings in here to make this install easier for you as well. So usually these flag nuts are upside down, but this thing is probably going to interfere with the arm if it's installed the way the factory is. This one you can leave factory. That one's kind of harder to get to, especially if you have headers and stuff, and you can just zip it from the bottom. But this one, there's enough room to tighten it down. But now I'll get to my next point. Don't tighten them down first, because they're not going to install right if the length of this one isn't correct. So what you're going to do is put your 5/8 bolt through there, get that kind of lined up and half together, and then slip your spacer in there while getting the bolt through it. It takes a little dexterity to be able to do it, but it is possible. And the closer that you have these adjusted being correct, the better, because they have to be basically on the same axis. If you get the spacer in, then thread the bolt in, and feel free to tighten this one up, because it's gonna be hard to when the tie rod's in there. So you do this one first so that this will fall into place where they need to be, because those holes are slotted from the factory on the subframe, so it'll all come together. All right, control arms are fully bolted in. At this point, I like to measure my track width. So what I do is take the tape, get on the back side of that bolt head, and kind of eyeball the center of this. But both sides are at 17 inches from, same reference points on each side, and go from there. And they should go up and down freely. Not binding too much. This side has a little more bind than I like to see. The other side was better. Like I said, that's all in how that's adjusted. So yeah, now you can go on to get your knuckle put on. All right, so pro tip, this bolt, it's 5/8, 18, needs to be torqued to 128 foot-pounds. You're not gonna do that unless you have the strut in line. I was like half gonna attempt to do it while it wasn't. It's just, when you have that much torque, you need to have it pretty constrained. So got that torqued. Now I'm going to torque this. I'm gonna look up the spec. I'll put it on the video when I compile it, and then tighten all that down. Up top is tight enough. Notice there's no spring. And then I can put on a rotor, hook up the tie rod, and that'll just be a rough, just eyeballed, straight, zero toe-ish, so that we can do bump steer things, because it doesn't have to be aligned right now, because that's coming. It's just we're a little bit ways from that. I already have a video on YouTube about how to adjust bump steer. Concept is exactly the same on the Fox, so I'll spare that. I'm gonna get through this and then we'll continue. So all that's left is to do all your regular camber alignment. And your toe caster is somewhat adjustable. It's adjustable if your top hat allows it. The one on this car isn't. But if you're allowed, if your top hat in your car has some caster adjustment, you're gonna be able to get probably a degree or two out of it, depending on which way. But this should have about what stock has, about 7 degrees. And if you want, you can get less by putting the arm, that spacer back here in the front instead of in the back. Then you're gonna have to adjust your rear heim as well, because that goes hand in hand, otherwise it won't fit. So, but that's how I build in the jig, is have it in that position. So yeah, that should be all you really need to know, besides normal alignment stuff. Make sure you torque everything and you should be good to go. And like I said, this is like the prototype, very first version. The version I'm gonna offer up for sale is gonna look a little different. This is, the pickup point's gonna be actually further out and have a little more Ackerman, but it's going to use the entire rack travel. Right now I have limiters actually in there, because like I said, I designed it with limiters in there, but I figured anyone doing an angle kit at this level is probably going to remove the limiters. And don't put the spacers in. You're going to run out of room. You'll have plenty of angle to play with. I mean, if you want to feel froggy, put the rack spacers that I offer in there as well. You'll get probably another 5-10 degrees out of it, depending on your setup. But yeah, this is the Make It Modular kit. So now I just gotta put it back together and align it.